computer. So as I was saying, so I'm gonna go and also share my screen to the presentation that I have ready for you girls. Let me just see. Oh, what is it? Is it here? Ah, it's on the same page. Okay. 1 second. Sorry, ladies. This still takes me a little bit of troubleshooting. No, it wasn't on the same page. So let me just share screen again. Share the screen, and here we are. So share. Please, one of you let me know if you can see my screen. So I'm just gonna pin myself as well, pin, so then I can remove you girls. And what I'm gonna go on a presentation preset. So as I was saying, as you check on the last check-in this week, I ask you girls to set up the goals, and I keep asking quite often to to set up like mini goals as we go through the different kind of um, phases of our training together. But I believe that the New Year's goals are actually the most important, because a new year is a new beginning, and because you, Julia, are new, and Jana, this is very good for you. Also, because of all that is changing in your life at the moment, I thought we will just do like a nice kind of practice. This is everywhere. People such as Tony Robbins, Steve Jobs, and people who have achieved big things in life is people who have set themselves goals and have them clear. It is very important whenever we enter or whenever we want to change anything in our life, it's very clear that we know clearly where we're going, and the only way to know where we're going or what we want to do is to find clarity, and the only way to find clarity is by grabbing pen and paper and setting yourself some goals. Now, it's very important before I continue with this, when setting up those goals, it's also very important not to obsess with the goal itself, but to have that goal as an anchor. Like if you find yourself maybe getting out of track, for example, if your goal was to lose weight and perhaps your actions are not aligned with your weight loss kind of goal, then having the goal really clear and doing it on mesocycles. I say mesocycles of it can be every 2 months, every time we have a goal, but ideally for a goal in fitness to be achievable, I will go through what we call the SMART goal approach. So if we go ahead, what is the SMART, or what is the difference between a goal and a dream? And it's basically that the goal is written down, and once you have written down your goal, then it's easier for you and your coach or whatever you're doing outside. Today I'm just gonna purely focus on fitness because that's my field. So it's very important that you have a clear goal, that you've written it down, for you to be able to then map it out along with me, who am your coach, and then we can discuss how we're gonna approach that goal that you have, and then work together. So if you have seen this approach before, so SMART, each of the letters means something, and it will mean something that you will have to consider before actually setting up your goal. So why you should use the SMART approach? SMART goals are great, particularly in fitness realm, because they are realistic, increase the potential of adherence in working towards a goal, and motivation, and easily trackable, and lead to realistic outcomes. So if you saw my latest post on Instagram this week, was about 5 facts. Oh, no, not that one. Was about 5 facts. I don't know if you have seen it. 5 facts to keep in mind before blaming yourself. And the reason why I did this post is because it's very easy to fall in the trap of not thinking through your goals when someone asks you to set up goals. And ideally, when I am someone who's asking all the time to set goals or mini goals or weekly goals, because that's the way that I operate myself throughout my life. And I truly believe that if you don't know where you're going, you will get nowhere. So when I say do not obsess over the goal, is also with the intention that sometimes we have a goal, but that is just kind of the anchor that is giving us direction and is keeping us focused towards that direction. But sometimes, as we walk through the path to reach that goal, we might discover things within ourselves that will lead us to different paths. And so that's why it's when sometimes we need to stop and think, okay, maybe I set up myself a goal for 90 days, and down the line I am on day 45 and the situation is X, Y, and Z. So it's very important as well that we are able to be flexible and we are able to adapt, especially with how the world is being at the moment. So we know that we have nothing certain, especially with obviously the COVID and the lockdowns and not being able to have like our freedom as we did before. But nonetheless, it doesn't mean that there is no point to set up goals where there is uncertainty. Actually find that it's better to set up those goals in times of uncertainty, because that is what is going to keep your head above the water for whatever is happening now. Unfortunately, sometimes things like COVID and lockdown gets in the way of our goals. For example, if your goal was to I don't know, was to run a half marathon in 6 months, and maybe it happens that in 6 months we are again in a lockdown. So unfortunately, you were not able to run the proper marathon, but it doesn't mean that we cannot prepare you towards that marathon. And in fact, last year, it was actually really motivating to see some people who actually did the London Marathon by themselves, because the actual event wasn't able to be done. So they had that goal, they trained for it, and they kind of set themselves the challenge to just go and run the marathon, even though the event was not official. So this is what I'm saying, that yes, it's very important to have a goal. I will break through what it is, what are the considerations that we need to have when it comes to setting up those goals, but also for life experience, I want to highlight that we need to be flexible and we need to be adaptable to changes, especially in the lives that we live in at the moment. So I hope that's clear. So without further ado, I'm gonna go ahead and explain what SMART acronym means. And so SMART, S stands for specific, which, as the name say, we need to get specific with the goal. Frequently, we say to our goal is to get in shape, and it happens a lot within females. Oh, I just want to tone up. Oh no, I don't want to get too big. But those, or I want to lose weight. Those goals are broad and hard to measure. When setting a SMART goal, you might say you want to run 5K or lift. I think I made a mistake in there. Jump 20 inches. Yes, to get 20 inches. I think this word wasn't meant to be there. Apologize for that. 20 inches or do 20 inches box jumps instead of getting in shape. So this is what I mean when, and also something very important is the power of having things written down. So I do believe a lot in obviously the power of attraction and the power of visualization and the power of journaling and writing down whatever is it that you want to achieve and actually breaking down. And it's something that I had to do in the past for my fitness, but it's something that I had to do every 90 days with my business coach with regards where I am at my business, where I am at my personal level, and where I am at my fitness level, and what is it that I'm going, what I have achieved. But I actually have to tell my coach specifically, for example, in your case, it can be, I want to run 5K. I want to run 5K under 23 minutes but we will get in details. So far we are just on a specific. So a specific basically is trying to explain with the most words you can use what is it that you want to achieve. So if your goal is to get in shape, perhaps you might want to say, I want to gain 2 kilos of muscle mass, maybe lose 3% of body fat, feeling fitter, and just having more energy during the day by March 2021. So in there, we are putting as much detail as possible. We're writing this goal down. So then in our head, our goal is so clear that we only need to leave the goal there. Obviously, follow the steps that I will break down for you, and things will happen just because you have it clear. There is a very strong relationship between what you want. I really believe on putting out there what you want to the universe, whatever religion you are on. I am not particular religious, but I do believe in the energy and the energy of the universe. And the more you know where you're going, the more the more possible is that you're gonna get there, just because the universe is gonna put all things in the way for you to reach to your goal if that's truly what you really want to happen. So that's why the more details we can put into this goal, a specific goal, the better. So it's clear for us, and it's also clear for the unconscious part of our mind. Now, if we go to M, any of you knows, you can type on the chat. Actually, not, because I'm on a presentation. Forget about it. So M obviously stands for measurable. So determine how your goal can be measured. For instance, lose 5 pounds or run a mile in 8 minutes, or are able to measure for progress towards the end of the goal. So again, what I was saying before. So the more detail we give to the goal setting, the better. And also, especially in fitness, because and business as well, but on a spiritual or personal levels, those things can be a little bit subjective sometimes. But in fitness, if we do have a goal, we definitely have to be able to back it up by something that is measurable. And there it comes the importance of me asking you for the check-ins, for the pictures on a monthly basis to see how we are progressing, if it's losing weight, if it's a body recomposition, whatever your goal is. That's why I keep kind of not bothering you, but actually asking you for the measurements, the pictures, the check-ins. That's the way that I measure if we are actually working and making progress towards your main goal. That's clear. So if we go to the next one, so A stands for attainable. And as a coach, I found this is where the things can get a little bit tricky. If a client set up a specific and measurable goal of losing 10 pounds, but if that goal is not attainable or realistic, then obviously that will lead you to disappointment and perhaps either increasing your like self-doubt, or just in total want, like it will leave you just with wanting to give up altogether. But the point in here is that the fall was not on the goal setting. The fall was on the expectations as to when you will achieve these goals. So here is when my job as a coach is to kind of put your feet down into the ground, and I am very honest and straight actually. And sometimes I have to reject clients when I do the first consultation over the phone, and I go through, okay, what's your goal? When are you looking to achieve this? And when I see that there is people that is very desperate for like a cookie cutter program, or a people who really want to go crazy diets, then I will be the first one that say, no, I'm not doing this job. First, because you won't be able to sustain it for life. And my idea here with all of you girls is to educate you as to how to best practice your fitness so you can sustain that for a lifestyle, instead of just getting losing 10 pounds because you have holidays in 3 months, and therefore you go into an extreme deficit of calories and an extreme activity expenditure, but then that leaves you with a lot of hormonal imbalances. It leaves you with health issues, and then it will only leave you to hate fitness and not implemented fitness into your life anymore, because you went on such a stream that first you put your body in such a level of stress that your body is only going to bounce back. And this is when we see people who are always looking for the latest fat diet, because they are always believing that there must be something secret out there that is going to have the perfect formula for them to lose or gain weight, when in reality things are easy and simple. Once you have your goal set, then it's easier to map, to kind of break it down on a steps that you need to take every day, such as staying active, drinking enough water, making sure you're eating healthy. And when I say eating healthy, I mean you're nourishing your body properly, which means that you have your macronutrients, the three of them, not excluding any of them, and you also have your macronutrients from your fruits and your greens. But if you wanted to get into your, if I sorry, I lost it a little bit, but what I wanted to say is that if I was a coach, if I wasn't a proper coach, and you come to me telling me that you want to lose 20 kilos within the next month, and I will say, yeah, of course we can easily do that, I will only get you hype up, um, on a fake hope. And at the end of the month, when you obviously will not be able to lose the 20 kilos, you're gonna be disappointed with myself, of course, and I will not blame you for that. And you will be, but the most important thing is that you will be disappointed with yourself, and that is not the position that I want any of you to be at, because in here we are all about empowering. You are able, we just need to do what it has to be done every single day, and the accumulation of those repetitions is what is going to bring the results that we want. Not need to go to extremes, no need to go to anything fancy. It's literally just the repetition of simple tasks, whether the tasks are, as I mentioned before, drinking water, making sure you hit X amount of steps a day. It's different for everyone, so I don't want to go too much on detail, because with some of you, I don't have target of steps a day, because, for example, Julia in this call, she's super busy. Work very long hours, so we don't need to work on getting her to do any more steps. Or what we need to work on is actually the opposite. We need to work on getting her stronger, because otherwise the activity level that she managed at work is not going to let us reach any muscle gain if we don't make sure that we are also controlling how many steps you are taking. If someone, on the other hand, is very sedentary, like work in front of the computer, doesn't move much through the day, then that person, I will more likely say, okay, let's make sure we're drinking 3 liters of water, we're hitting 7,000 to 10,000 steps a day, and we're doing your training, and we are consistent with how you eat. There is nothing fancy around it. It's only just simple things. Getting on a daily basis will get us to where we want to get in X amount of time. So attainable, really important. Don't lie to yourself. Also, don't underestimate what you can reach. So this is at the other side of the coin. If, for example, you tell me, oh, I want to lose 5 pounds, 5 kilos, not 5 pounds, 5 kilos in 10 months, then I will say, okay, but why is that important for you to lose those 10 kilos in 5 kilos? And if I see obviously that you are someone that is overweight, I will say we can lose more than that. Let's aim a little bit higher. But and that is also down to calculations on energy balance. But I will always shoot, even then I will always shoot for, even though I know we can achieve that within the time she said and the time I said, I will always shoot for a little bit longer, just because when it comes to training, it's very important not to base our goal purely on just body weight. And you have all experience, especially Jana, who has been training with me since I started for the last 4 years. So she has already experienced what it is to be an spaghetti and what it is to be someone with nice muscles, someone who got into the discipline. So it all took us a little while. First was getting her to train because she hated training. Second was getting her to actually learn how to lift because she didn't have an idea on how to lift. And slowly, we have reached the point at which we are now. And it has been all down to setting up of goals myself, because she doesn't set them. So I can see the chat here. Good. She's saying now that she's like a Victoria sponge. No, that's not true. She's not a Victoria sponge. Maybe now after all the sugar you have on Christmas, but you will get rid of that sugar and you will be okay. So yeah. So the goals that I set for Yana, unfortunately, because Yana is my friend, sometimes I lose the authority with her because of the fact of being my friend, my very close friend. But also because of that, I know how and when to push. So she doesn't set the goals herself. I set them for her, and it has been working so far. The only thing that I cannot get to work is when she decides not to train for X amount of weeks. There is nothing I can do, but I know she will come back. Anyway, let's go back to the point of the presentation. We are now to R for realistic or relevant. So obviously, as the word says, and as I have been saying very many times now, the goal has to be realistic purely just to avoid disappointment and self-sabotage or self-belief issues. So if I have a goal of squatting 300 pounds, implement a progressive running program as a goal is not likely to be relevant. Otherwise, I could just, or in the opposite, if you are setting yourself a goal to run a marathon, maybe setting you up to hit a max of a squat is not the training that you need. You still need some training, don't get me wrong, strength training, especially when it comes to running a marathon, just to avoid injuries, and obviously for your muscles to be more efficient when it comes to running. But squatting super heavy is not going to be at the top of your priorities, because you will need to work more than on strength. You need to work on endurance and power, not so much on strength, or like purely strength. Like 300 pounds is a lot of weight for a female, so that I was exaggerating just to make the point. So the goal has to be relevant to what do you want to get. So another example that I can put in here, I don't know, for example, you want to get in the best shape of your life because you are getting married in 6 months, and therefore you are gonna start walking every day. So although walking is amazing for increasing the NEAT, which is the non-energy the non-exercise activity thermogenesis, which is basically the amount of energy you spend in the day that is not coming from exercise. So just by walking around, going up and down, and just your body kind of be energy to run your organs and everything inside, then that obviously I will say no. Perhaps if you want to get in the best shape of your life for 6 months, we will need to get some strength training to make an impact on your body shape, more than just walk. However, I'm a massive fan of walk. Walk is amazing for yes, increasing the amount of energy that you spend through the day, and also to help to unwind the mind. And for me, walking is a source of like inspiration. I get most of my ideas on content creation or program design, stuff like that, while I'm walking with inspiration and podcast. So definitely keep walking as part of your life, but that will not get you in the best shape of your life. So that's what I mean when I say relevant. And now we're going for the last one, which is time bounded. And as the name says, we need to have a deadline for that goal so we can obviously take action and break it down. And when I say this, so for example, so there is a famous app or a famous way of training someone that is called going from the couch to the 5K. That is attainable and is done in a process of like 6 weeks, more or less. And that is someone who has never run before, and how you take that person to slowly start getting into running. You will do it gradually, and then in 6 weeks you definitely will be running 5K. But if I say going from the couch to a half marathon in 6 weeks, then definitely you will not be able to do it. I mean, I'm not saying you will not be able to do it. You might want to go ahead and do your half marathon, but it's definitely going to be a lot of pain, and perhaps you might get injury, if not faint, in the middle of the marathon, just because you didn't have enough time to prepare for that goal. So without being in mind, this short explanation of the SMART approach to goal settings, I want you to then we're going to do an exercise. So if you have a piece of paper there with you, I want you to look at your goals that you have at the moment on the ones that you've written. None of you replied to me on the check-in about goal setting this last weekend. So what I believe Julia did, I don't remember, but we're gonna base what we're gonna do. I'm gonna do a graphic here that I'm gonna show you. So on a piece of paper, we are gonna do a graphic like this. So it's just a T, yeah? So at the bottom here is where you are on your fitness. So let's say we are an spaghetti, yeah? And then at the top in here, we're gonna say, both of you, want to gain weight, let's say, but when I say gain weight, obviously we're talking about good weight, so muscle weight. So then I put three times my size, yeah. Then also here, we're gonna put time available. So we're gonna put time in this line, in the horizontal line, we're gonna put time. And here on the right, we're gonna put less time. And here at the top, we're gonna put more time, yeah? So what I want you to do with this is, for example, I wish I had something that I can show you as I'm writing. But for example, if you're someone who is who's very skinny at the moment, and so you would put yourself somewhere here, yeah? If you are on the other hand, someone that is wanting to lose weight, so you are someone rather big here, so you're gonna put the line in here. But we're gonna start here. So you are skinny, and you have not much time to train. And then between those two dots, can you reply on the chat if you can see the dots? I'm gonna put them in purple. Can you see the dots? Or just unmute and say yes. You won't be on cameras because I just pin yourself. Okay, I can see the chat in here, chat. Okay, perfect. And what we're gonna do is between those two dots, we are gonna put another dot where those two dots meet, yeah? So right in here, we do another dot, yeah? Now, I'm gonna take another color if I have. I have blue here. So now we are on the other side. So if we are here, we have a lot of time. And in here. And then what we're gonna do, so we are here at this point. What we're gonna do is to write a circle that is gonna target these three dots and a little bit here in the middle. And then write another circle here, which is gonna get the three dots at the top and is gonna make the two circles come together here, all right? So, one second, I'm just writing here to show you. So as I say, depending on where you are, but I'm just assuming because the two of you are, I know already, well, the two of you we're working on gaining muscle mass. Even though Jana has been a little bit off diet, she's normally someone who by default will be very skinny if she stops training. So we will be working on building muscle mass. And when I say this, it doesn't mean that you have to be obese. It means that if your goal is to gain muscle mass, then you would like to be somewhere here, yeah? So you can interpret this as either gaining muscle mass, or if you are from someone who is not in this goal, who's wanting to lose weight, then you can interpret this as you being a little bit overweight at the moment and you wanted to lose weight. But for the purpose of the people who is on this call, we're gonna interpret these guys in here as you girls getting more muscle mass, okay? So because you wanna get more muscle mass in order to change your body composition, don't get me wrong, getting muscle mass is not being bulky, it's just getting more muscle, so your body gets defined. Like myself, I have been lifting for over 10 years. I don't think I'm bulky. So we are in here, yeah? And then obviously your goal will be at some point to get up here have more time for yourself. So on the time I didn't explain, sorry. So when you have less time, it's less time for yourself. And in here, you want to have more time for yourself. So I also don't want you girls spending extraneous hours training, because it's been proven that you don't need to kill yourself training. You just need to train smart to great to create a good stimulus in your muscles and check and achieve body composition. Everything else is taken care after nutrition and making sure we are active during the day. But in terms of training, that belief that you need to kill yourself and end up the training smash on the floor, sometimes it's needed. Like if you are doing a metcon that is very intense but no longer than 15 minutes, then you might feel that way, but you in a minute or two you are quickly recover. But it was a time that training such a insanity training, or now during the lockdown lots of celebrities are doing like kind of lot of heat training every day. And don't get me started with that. You don't need to do heat training every day, and you don't need to feel that for you to train properly you need to finish the session like you are about to die. You need to feel that you had an stimulus. Yes, if you haven't been training for a while, maybe next day you're gonna have some pain, but the pain should not be at the degree that you will not be able to exercise again for the rest of the week because of the dome being so great. Yeah, I mean, so big. So if we are aligned with that, we don't want to spend a lot of time because we are busy women. As you know, my target audience of females, or the females that I like to work with is females that are busy, not females who live around fitness. So females who implement fitness into their life to feel better about themselves and to be healthier, but it's not females who live about fitness. And that will be people who train for competitions or professional athletes. That will be different. Okay, in your case I think time is very important because I know you are all very busy, and I know sometimes maybe not Jana at the moment, but you will get busy again. And I know sometimes you find frustrating the fact that you don't have enough time to train. But when you have someone who guides you properly, that person, myself, will teach you that you don't actually need to spend endless hours training to achieve results. Okay, so just to resume this, so we're gonna have those two cycles, and this big cycle here, which is where you don't want to be, when you are skinny like an spaghetti and you don't have much time because you're training a lot. And the reason why you're skinny as an spaghetti is either, or when I'm not saying as an spaghetti, but this is when you see like the skinny fat ladies. When I say skinny fat, it's actually a thing, it's a condition. It's people who are, when you see us at first glance, you see that person is skinny, but when you actually go and measure their body fat, the body fat is really high. So that was basically Jana when we first started, but we completely transformed that last year. But anyway, so here in this big part, we're gonna put a stop. Then in here, we're gonna put keep. And then in this area here, we're gonna keep start. Because ultimately, this is where you wanna be. So you wanna have a better body composition and you wanna have more time for yourself. So if that is clear so far, let me know on the chat. Okay, yes. So Julia is saying that time is critical, and this is why I was really happy that you are here on this call, because this will give you a lot of relief. You don't need to kill yourself training, as I told you many times. You are also someone who can be skinny fat, because when I saw your body composition the first time, by default, you're someone who seemed to be skinny with shapes, but it's skinny, but it was some fat in there. In the right areas. You are lucky, like Yana. We have fat around the hips. I always do set up the goals for you. Sorry, I'm trying to check in the chat as I talk to you. But well, So I'm very glad that that you consider that time is important. So if I want to continue with this activity before we run out of time, what I want you to do after you have done this graphic, I then want you to write 3 things. So considering your goal. So the goal for Julia is to be in the best shape of her life. I wouldn't talk about body weight, a specific body weight, because I don't target progress on body weight unless you are on a weight loss journey. Then we need to focus on a scale a little bit more. Even then, I'm not so obsessed about the scale, because when we work on resistance training, there is always going to be a fluctuation between the way that is changing from the fat and the way that is being converted in muscle mass. But Julia wants to be in the best shape of her life to hopefully in 6 months. And then Yana, your goal is to get yourself together again, start your training and get in the shape we were last year when we managed to get you, I believe it was in September. Okay, so that's your goal. So if we then I want you to, I will leave the exercise of setting the goal like more specific, like literally I want you to go through this presentation, which I'm gonna send over to you, and I'm gonna post it on the Facebook group. So I want you to go to every single one of the SMART when you set up your goal, and I want you to write it down somewhere that is visible. So for example, I'm going to show you a little secret. So I have that in my room, which is a whiteboard. And in there, I have written some keywords, because when it's visible to me, then I'm more likely to achieve that goal. So what I want you to do is to follow this presentation today and find some time, either tonight when we finish this call soon, or tomorrow or during the weekend, to properly set up your most important goal, fitness related, for 2021. So that is specific, that is measurable, that is attainable, so or realistic, that is relevant to your goal, and that is time bounded. Okay. But if we continue now with this exercise that we're doing here, I want you to then write 3 things that you have to stop doing. So for example, Jana, you have to stop baking cookies and baking nice breads and get back into having your protein and having your nutrition on point. Not just because cookies are bad, cookies are not bad, but when you have a lot of them together, you get your spots, you get inflammation, you're not getting the right nutrients, you might actually suffer from anxiety due to the high levels of sugar and not enough protein. So those are the things that I will say. For example, for myself, I will say 3 things that I have to stop doing will be: stop comparing myself with other business or online coaches, because that gets me really overwhelmed. And I'm saying as my business goals, because at the moment I don't have fitness goal. I'm happy with how I am. I just train for the sake of I enjoy training. So I will say, for example, 3 things that I have to stop doing to achieve my goal in my business will be: stop comparing myself, stop procrastinating the tasks that I don't like doing, and stop overwhelming myself, or stop taking people's problems so personal, so my life goes smoothly. So that's what I would do. But if I was you, then I would say 3 things that are stopping you to get to your goal. Yeah. Then we're gonna analyze 3 things that you're currently doing that you will like to keep to achieve your goal. So in your case will be, for example, keep the activity levels. Jana, I know you're not training much, or you started again, but you started walking, so keep walking. Keep drinking 3 liters of water a day. and keep having protein with every single one of my meals. Okay, for example, I'm just giving examples. And then 3 things to start doing, and those are the things that we then will attach to the things that we are already doing in order to make those things a habit. So this is when the habit stacking, which I spoke about a long time ago, comes into play. So for someone to acquire a new habit, there are multiple theories. There is people who says that it takes 21 days. There is people who says that it takes I don't know, X amount of days. But what I found most useful when it comes to implementing new habits that are going to help you to reach your goal is to stack the new habit into an habit that you have built already. And what I mean by that is, for example, if you, in the 3 things to start doing, have set up that you are going to be consistent with all your workouts every week, then what you can do is that you can find something that you are already doing that is going to force you to do that workout. For example, in the case of a Yana, it can be that she's doing multiple courses at the moment. So she's learning how to do soaps and shampoos and stuff. So it can be that, for example, now she has built up that routine to wake up, and I don't know at what time she study, but maybe you spend some time studying, and then you know that right after the time that you study, you then gonna do your workout. So that's how I will attack these 3 new things. So for example, if we say 3 new things that I want to start in order to achieve my goal, will be consistent with my training week by week, or adhere to it at least 90% of the time of the times. Then I don't know, you guys write in there what you guys think are gonna start doing. Getting back into removing sugar slowly from your diet. So if that is the case, we're gonna make sure that we have our meals plan ahead, so we don't fall in temptation, or we are gonna make sure that we are if we are buying too many sugar or too many sweets, we're gonna hide them somewhere, and you're gonna keep someone accountable. In, for example, here I just tell you a personal example, and it's, for example, my boyfriend Mateo. He struggles a lot with snacking, and now that he's finding himself at home more often because of the lockdown, he's really struggling with the snacks. So what I have done, what we have come to decide, is that I am in charge of the snacks, the key of the room that has the snacks, and he's not able to get into the snack room until weekend, and I'm only giving him like 2 pieces of chocolate a day, and that's his allowance of day. Yeah, because I'm also very much in favor of 80-20, which means 80% of whatever you do it clean, or 80% of your training, adhere to 80% of your training, 20% whatever you want, whether that is yoga, whether that is playing tennis, whether that is whatever you enjoy, dancing, whatever you do. When it comes to food, 80% high quality greens, high quality carbs, high quality protein, and 20% a cookie or a treat that you want to have during the day, and so on. I think you got my point. So what I want you to take away from this presentation today, and I'm gonna finish the presentation, and I'm gonna go back to, I'm gonna stop sharing the screen.